All right, guys, we got our last and final topic, and our last and final topic comes from a newcomer, Miss Bradley, Mr. Bradley Jensen. Thank you for being a
Welcome.
newcomer on the show. He writes, "Hey guys, so we are in the new year and the new phase of the MCU. So
Oh,
far,
good.
I'm hoping that Phase 5 will be a comeback for the MCU. With Bob Iger restructuring everything, do you think that we will get a rebirth of the MCU in Phase 5 where everything will actually make sense versus what we got in Phase 4 where they included everything, but everything did not make sense. Where they had some good movies and a lot of bad shows. What do you guys think? Well, thank you for your question, Bradley. I think though when he asked this question, I'm not sure if he was asking this question right when the Marvels trailer came out, versus or I because he sent it to me before it came out, so I'm going to assume you're asking this pre Marvels. After seeing the Marvels trailer and seeing what they're doing with Secret Invasion, I'm more excited for Secret Invasion than I am the Marvels. The Marvels trailer looks very like it looks like a very it looks good. Like I enjoyed it. Because like it looks like season two of Miss Marvel because there's a lot of her in there. But I'm curious to see how those three women are gonna come together and face off whatever the greater evil is. But to answer your question, MCU Phase 5. Let me just say this: I have some hope because there are some titles that are coming out that I'm excited for. However, I think that the MCU, their problem is oversaturation and introducing new characters without a new narrative. My question has been, okay, and we're doing the multiverse and Kang is the guy we're fighting. Why is it going to take this many characters to fight him? And a lot of them are derivative characters of the main Avengers. So we got Sam Wilson's Captain America from Steve Rogers. We got She Hulk and the Hulk, and now we have Hulk's son. Now and then we have Daredevil. I don't see where Daredevil plays a role in the Avengers because I mean, but then again, if you can put Hawkeye in the Avengers, you can probably put Daredevil in the Avengers. So I mean, I'm curious to see where the end game is, if you will. But ultimately, I do have a little bit more hope in MCU in terms of Phase 5 than I did with Phase 4. I'm hoping it's a better narrative. Like I said, I really enjoyed the recent Secret Invasion trailer that came out, where they're making Nick Fury a little bit more grounded. And we also can't tell if this is actual Nick Fury or a scroll. So there's that dynamic. Then also, is that Nick Fury in space the actual Nick Fury? Or is that a scroll talking to the Marvels? Who knows? Like there's so many questions. And so I'm just hoping that we get this a little bit more central and less oversaturation of new characters, but revitalizing the MCU as a whole. So, uh, Jeremy, do you have hope for the Phase 5? Do you think this will be the MCU's comeback, or do you think this is going to be basically a deterrent like Phase 4?
Who asked the question? New viewer?
Bradley Jensen or Jansen.
Bradley started watching and stopped watching in the same episode because of my take on collard greens, and then because I'm gonna you caught me at a bad time in my career, buddy. Bradley. I
Cancel.
was so enthusiastic about Marvel for a long time, and I think everybody on this panel are pretty dedicated Marvel fans, right? Like the
Absolutely, yes.
Infinity Saga is, in my approximation, the greatest movie franchise of all time. Since then, they've definitely had some missteps. I think Alex makes a lot of good points. They're introducing so many characters, and they're not really focusing in on as many of them as recurring characters. Don't like there are notable exceptions. Kamala Khan, Monica Rambeau, like there are exceptions, obviously, that we're starting to see these characters come back around. But Phase 4 was just bring in as many as you can get most of the cast members to have children that basically fill the same role. And I'm not so interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to be objective, there are many adults now that had children in the interim between when Iron Man started and where we're at now. It's been 15 years. So a lot can change in 15 years. And I imagine there is a very specific audience of young fathers that want to take their children to see these movies. And the kids are probably somewhere in that same age as baby Thor and baby Hulk and like the Avenger babies. So like I can see the appeal of it. It ain't it for me really. As I look at the lineup, I'm excited that there's a Blade movie coming out, and I actually saw that they cast Mia Goth in it.
Great casting for horror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This was just like
yeah,
a day or two ago, so I think
yeah.
that's exciting. There are projects throughout this that I'm interested in. I like Sam Wilson as Captain America. He is an established character that we've seen since the beginning, so I'm interested to see more of his story. I like Loki. I like the ones that I'm the most familiar with. I am invested. I think Secret Invasion looks good. I actually did think the trailer to the Marvels looked really good. So there's a lot of this stuff that has potential, but I feel that we've hit critical mass. If the next few things aren't great, I'm going to be even more negative than I am today. Fortunately, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is like the next thing we have out, and I'm sure that it's going to reignite that spark within a lot of the more cynical audiences like myself. So yeah, they've got nowhere to go but up from here. Really, I think Phase 4 was kind of a train wreck. So we'll see what happens.
You actually put a good point. They have nowhere to go but up from this point. I mean, I
Mhm.
will say, what the first film we got in Phase 5 was what Ant-Man, Quantumanium. Um, Not that great, but I
Yeah,
mean, but I mean, I think it's a good start to introduce their villain, but at the same time, it's not I'm not too excited for it. But Ian, you are definitely an MCU fan. Do you think that Phase 5 could be their comeback season, or do you think that we're just going to continue the same on confusion from Phase 4?
Yeah, I think they have potential to come back.
Mhm.
Will success lead with it though? That's a great question, man, because I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of people that are frustrated with where's this going, or like it's just confusion and trying to, a lot of people, they just want you to top the Endgame movie. Like that is the bar. And maybe they could do it with the Avengers movies in the future, but that right now, that is the bar, and it's really hard to top that. So you
that's a
really
good
got to
point.
start from the bottom, man. Some of the smaller scale movies, I think Secret Invasions looks great. I think the Marvels looks great. I'm excited for Daredevil. Guardians, of course, looks good. And then you got these mixed in things that don't make any sense, like Agatha and
Yeah, who
Echo. I
cares?
don't what is I don't understand what this has to do with the, I mean, they're cool characters, but for their own franchise, like I don't know. It's weird decisions that they're making.
Agreed.
Also, not to put these two against each other, but right now, all eyes are on DC. Like this
Yeah.
is the new brand. They're rebranding. James Gunn
Yeah.
is starting from the bottom. He's doing this. I think the curiosity is going to be going over there, especially with these new products that nobody even knows about.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that might take a little bit away from Marvel because it's going to have a lot of their attraction. Now, if it sucks, they're going to keep going with Marvel. Now, but I do think James Gunn is going to put out some decent shit. On top of that, me myself, I said before the show, I think A2024 is having a great year, which my point is there's a lot of movies that have nothing to do with superhero movies that have a lot of people's attention.
Yep.
This has been a good year for non-superhero movies. Like the last 5 years, it's been superhero movies, superhero movies. This year is like other people got their attentions on other things. And so like my point is other things around Marvel might not might give it bad success, even if the quality is good, which it looks like it is good. Now we've seen things that look good that suck, but the quality of this stuff looks good. Still confused on where it's going. Of course, it's going to lead to Kang, but these products that are coming out, I'm confused where how the Guardians movie leads to Kang. I'm confused how Secret Wars leads to Kang, but whatever. If it makes sense, it makes sense whenever we see it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of distractions around it that might, hinder the success. Loyal fans like us that's been there since Iron Man 1, we gonna watch it regardless.
Yep.
I'm dedicated, but same time though, I think they might have some they might have some problems in the future when it comes to financial success. I'm hoping, who cares about that? To me, I'm hoping from a story narrative, it starts to make better sense. I hope they learn from their mistakes of phase 4 and they move forward with better products.
I had a question because you made a good point. You said all eyes are on DC, given the fact that everything that James Gunn is building is going to be essentially brand new. Do you think once we start getting, because I think their first official film is in 2025 with Superman Legacy. Once we get that kicked off, would you say that would be the point where we can actually have? Well, the conversation will change where DC is better than Marvel.
I don't know if they're gonna have the conversation of DC being better. If that movie is as good as like Iron Man, all eyes will be on DC. I think people are going to do the shift. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be better than Marvel because that's just one movie. You can't. We have the Infinity Saga. That is, like Jeremy was saying, that is the blueprint of like a great movie series, like the Infinity Saga. But if it is as good as Iron Man 1, that's all you need to be as good as Iron Man 1. This Iron Man 1 is not the best in but if it's as good as Iron Man 1, all eyes will be on DC, and we'll be like, all right, what else you got? You're making an effort to be as good. Right now, of course, Marvel's still leagues behind it, but man, it's kind of like you're in a race and Marvel's winning, but then you see this guy getting a little closer. That's what I would feel like if it is as good as Iron Man 1. And now people will be like, okay, well, he's coming up. He wants to be in the competition.
How do you feel about that, Jeremy?
I think that's a great take. What was the question? I fell out of the chat for a minute.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. The question was, with James Gunn rebuilding and doing things at DC, do you think that once Superman Legacy comes out in 2025, do you think that it will that will be the conversation where DC is now rivaling Marvel, not necessarily better than Marvel, but they're actually
that's what you said to me. You said better than Marvel. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, better than Marvel.
Okay. I wonder how much this has to do with brand. I know how much this has to do with brand. People love Disney. People love Marvel. People love Star Wars. There's a whole different kind of sentimentality built in with all of those brands. People love DC too, but they love it in a hateful way. You know what I'm saying? Like Warner Brothers DC fans, they're like coming from a defensive position. Like they love it, but I think they love Zack Snyder's DC. I don't know that they want to love James Gunn's DC. I think they're going to be like, it's the Marvelization of DC. You can see it in the Blue Beetle trailer. Everything's going to be quippy. A lot of the things that they say about Marvel movies, I have a feeling they're going to resent the fact that James Gunn, who's been such a stalwart of this brand, is going to be coming over. I wonder, though, ultimately, how much of this do audiences care about? Does it really matter if it's Ant-Man, or does it really matter if it's Shazam, or does it really matter if it's the Wolverine or Deadpool, or is it all kind of the same thing? And that's what I'm curious about. I don't know that the spark is ever going, like, inevitably a star burns out, right? And it may take a very long time for it to happen, but it is an inevitability. Eventually, it's going to disappear into nothingness. And we saw it happen with the Western genre. There have been many genres over the years that became the dominant force in the movie theater. The 80s action movies, right? Like that was a very distinctive R-rated, the buddy cop things. Like you still see them come out every once in a while, but they are not the prominent type of movie. Sex comedies from the early 2000s, the 80s, like things move in cycles. And I'm not saying that superhero movies will never come back around, but I don't wonder if the candle is just burning down and burning down and burning down, and eventually it's not going to matter if it's Superman or if it's Spider-Man, that people are just going to be done with it. But the brand is still strong today. Obviously, the people that are watching this show, the people that consume the superhero content and the Star Wars content on the internet, there's still a devoted bunch of individuals. And Ian's right. Like, I'm bought in at this point. I watch the new series when they come out. I go and watch the movies. And when I said Phase 4 is a train wreck, I think that's a bit of an overstatement. I don't think it was a train wreck. There were certainly good things within it, but it did feel like they were trying to put way too many things into motion and not really, I think Ian said it really well, not really building any one character up in the same way that they were like the driving force of the franchise. So, I don't think that the change to DC is going to make everybody that watches Marvel all of a sudden go over and watch DC movies. I think everybody that's into it is still going to go see both, and that we are going to continue to see diminishing returns.
And I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. You know how you said Westerns was the wave, and now it's superhero movies? I'm calling it now. Video game adaptations is going to be the next wave. I'm calling
it. We're seeing it. That's a good call.
I fundamentally disagree with that, only because we only have three examples of that, and there's not enough evidence to support that just yet.
Hey, it's the start. Sonic was the beginning. Sonic was the beginning, and now you got The Last of Us, and you got Mario doing numbers. It's just the beginning. I'm not saying it's taking over now, but I'm seeing it. People are gonna be like, okay, what else?
When I hear that conversation, we're gonna do a Legend of Zelda movie. I'm telling you, that movie, the fact that your main character does not talk, and you're gonna give him a voice,
he can talk.
Huh?
He can talk. Look, Chris Pratt was Mario, and everybody was hating, and it was the biggest animated movie of all time.
Yes, Mario couldn't talk, but at the same time, Mario had its own adventures that you could play upon. I knew that was going to be a fun movie, but
I can't believe you're disrespecting The Legend of Zelda like this.
Legend of Zelda is a fun. I mean, anyone who's played the game, it's fun.
Yeah,
but there is no intense dialogue there. It's an experience.
All right, whatever.
And that's what good writing will bring. That's what good writing will bring. The Last of Us, they brought good writing to like the character with the two gay dudes. Apparently in the game, it wasn't that deep, but they made it deep. That's what good writing does.
I love this shit, by the way. It's all fun to me.
By the way, did you guys see Mario?
I haven't seen it. My son did, though. He loved it.
No, I don't watch that shit.
Oh wow! I mean,
I'm gonna go see it.
I'm gonna see it too. Yeah, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's definitely a fun movie. I didn't go to the theater and see it, but I did see it. So.
Yeah.
Is it better than Sonic?
Huh?
Is it better than Sonic?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
No. I like Sonic 2 more than I liked this. It's better.
Yeah.
I'd say it's better than Sonic 1.
Okay.
But not Sonic 2. No.
Interesting. All right.
Not at all. But
no, I'm still calling it, man. Video game adaptations. You got millions you could work with. I think it's going to be the next wave. But we'll see.
Listen, I'm eager to see that. And when we get to the conversation where video game adaptations are rivaling comic book movies, I think that's going to be a very amazing debate amongst creators.
Yeah.
But given the fact we only have 3 examples of that, and like the last 5 years,
at the beginning, I don't know. Alex.
This is the beginning, so we'll see. We'll definitely see. But what do you guys think? That's actually interesting debate. I might come up with season 4 real debates, but I don't know. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the MCU will make a comeback in Phase 5, and do you think it would definitely do better than Phase 4? And also to that, do you think that James Gunn's DC will be better than the MCU once it gets off the ground? Jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. I want to take this moment and thank our sponsors, Blurred Creations. Blurred Creations is an independent Black-owned anime apparel company that produces high quality apparel on their website. If you go to Blurred Creations, you get things from shirts to accessories to all different types of apparel of your favorite anime characters. And guess what, guys? We're running a special on this particular website. If you type in the promo code MOMENTUM, you get 15% off each purchase of any item on the website. So if you are a supporter of mine and you want to support this independent black company, go to their website at Blurred Creations, type in the word MOMENTUM, and you get 15% off each purchase on their website. I want to thank you guys again for supporting our sponsors, and also, guys, be a sponsor and a subscriber of our YouTube channel, Momentum Media.